Let's look at your year ahead. I'm filming this video as we approach 2026, but my intention is actually for it to be timeless so that it applies if you find it at another time. These kinds of year ahead readings, whether they are mine or someone else's, are also really good to watch around your birthday, whatever time of year that is. And you are actually welcome to watch more than one group today. You may find messages in multiple groups, and as always, if a group does not feel right for whatever reason, don't be afraid to try another. Let me quickly go over what we're going to cover today, and then we'll take a closer look at your options. So we're going to start with the energy of the year and your main focus and feelings that are coming forward as sort of a theme to begin. We will look at romantic relationships, other relationships in your life, your career, finances, and stability, opportunities and good things coming in, lessons and obstacles and how to handle them, and finally, some guidance. So let's take a look at your options. For group 1, we have Copper, and we are using the Book of Shadows Tarot, So Below. For group 2, we have Citrine, and we are using the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. For group 3, we have Grape Agate, and we are using the Fairy Tale Tarot. Okay, take all the time you need to choose. Pause if you need to, and meet me in your reading when you're ready. Hi, group 1. You chose the Copper and the Book of Shadows Tarot. Welcome to your reading. We're looking at your year ahead. I mentioned everything we're covering in the intro already, so let's dive right in. I'm going to set the tarot aside for a moment, but let's keep your Copper. And let's take a look at a couple of oracle cards for the energy of the year, your main focus and feelings, and get a little bit of information about that. So we have your Beacon. We have Release. We have Grapes, time to go out and have fun. And we have Hills, obstacles to overcome. Okay. So the first and strongest energy that I'm getting for some of you is this is going to be quite a spiritual year. So we have a star we could say that's the sun, but we have a star in both of these cards. We have a sun peeking up over here as well, but it's making me think of like celestial and higher up and higher energies and higher frequencies and being connected to the divine and being connected to your truest self. You know, with Beacon, your Beacon here, there's all these different things going on, all these different colors, all these different facets. So you may have a lot of different things going on this year, but you have this central focus and it connects everything. So there's some kind of a connecting energy here, and it's making me think of consciousness and of, all these things are always going on in life as a human being, as a person here. You know, we've got all of this stuff going on here, and yet there's this releasing happening. And so it's like spiritual awakening energy. It's like coming home to yourself. It's being able to see clearly again the light, all that is, all that you really are. And so I know that this sounds maybe kind of intense. We are still going to look at relationships and finances and all of that stuff. But I do think for many of you here, this has to do with your spirituality, but more so even than that, it has to do with your feeling of limitlessness, your connection to the light, your connection to the divine, potentially to your intuitive and psychic abilities, but most of all to yourself. It's like there's a clarity here. And this also feels like something you may have been working toward for possibly a long time or recently, but it's like suddenly you're able to see and understand things more clearly. And so overall, when we look at this energy, of the new year or the next year ahead, we see spirituality, letting go of what's been in the way. We see healing, and I see abundance as well. I mean, we'll talk about grapes, but I see abundance with grapes, but then this also kind of feels like pentacles or coins, and having plenty and feeling abundant in that way as well. But with release here as well, it's like this year is a year of moving things out of the way, or continuing to move things out of the way that have stood between you and clarity, your health, your spirituality, your psychic abilities, yourself, whatever has kept you feeling limited, trapped, stuck, unable to move forward or see clearly, whatever that is. It seems like this is a year of clearing the clutter and being more connected to the real truth of it all in a really positive way. It's like the light is shining. You can see. And I just can't help but think it's like, we have all these beliefs, all these thoughts, all these things that keep us kind of very focused on life around us and all the things happening. And that's not a bad thing. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But sometimes when those things are moved out of the way and we can be more in tune with the truth of who we really are, that seems to be a big, big theme for this group. If it's not spiritual for you, it can also be about authentically being yourself and releasing whatever has been in the way from being able to be your light, bright, open self with the world or with certain people or in aspects of your life. Being able to shine your light brilliantly without fear seems to be really happening here. And, again, we have release and we have obstacles to overcome. I kind of want to switch these. And then we have this grapes, time to go out and have fun. And there is a lot of really happy, bright energy that seems to be happening this year. But with that said, there are still blocks, there are still obstacles, and there are still things you're kind of clearing out of the way in order to fully feel this energy. And so you seem to be in that process. And I would say in some way it's a healing process, but it's a letting go, it's a surrender, it's a release process. And it's allowing you to have more freedom, more joy, more peace, more connection with yourself and what feels real. And yeah, it feels like it's time. It feels like it's finally time. Like, again, I think that, you have maybe worked for this feeling your whole life, this feeling of freedom, of getting to do what you want, be who you want, be connected to yourself, all the things that I've talked about. And it's like, this seems to be the time it's finally all happening. And for some reason, grapes sometimes also make me think about spiritual awakening and sort of removing old false beliefs and things in order to see clearly and truly. And, with these obstacles to overcome, yes, the bulk of this card is these hills or these obstacles, but we see the sun right here. You're already on your way. You can see there's a beacon here that you can kind of see where you're already going. Yes, I've talked a lot about spirituality. It could be something else for you, some kind of very specific goal that you're moving toward that may have something to do with abundance and joy. And so this is a lot of what this year is going to be about for you. So I'm trying to decide, do I just want to move these out of the way? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so let's get your tarot. Let me give it a shuffle. And then we'll start getting into relationship information. So I'm going to start with your love life. If you don't care about romance, this can also be about like your closest relationship. But whether you are single or dating or with someone or whatever, I'm hoping to get messages for you. So let's take a look at what your love life is looking like in the next year. I keep feeling some kind of maybe anxiety or annoyance with you that's, even though, let me grab these again. These original cards are so bright and happy. I think that you have some obstacles around, some of the obstacles that you're clearing are really around the stuck feelings you've had either for a long time or recently. So if you've had anger or frustration recently, or you're bringing buried anger to the surface, or if you have a good amount of anxiety, or even there's a fear of failure with some of you, or a feeling of cyclical things happening where you feel like you haven't been able to escape a cycle or something. So I think there's a lot of different things that could be happening. Again, for some of you, it's quite a few things you're working on. And then it's also like, it's this for someone and this for someone. But, it does seem like some of the stuff you're clearing this year is around, like I said, stuck emotions. But let's get into your relationships. I'm hearing someone say a whole lot of nothing. So there might be, there are likely people here where nothing's really been happening and you're kind of expecting that to be the same. Of course, that's not going to be the case for everyone here. The Hermit, okay? The King of Pentacles. I want to get one more. And the Three of Cups. Okay, what's going on in Group 1's other relationships? Friends, family, community. The Sun. The Knave of Wands. And the Four of Wands. And the Knave, by the way, is the Page of Wands here. Okay, so let's start on the left and talk about your romantic life. And, or, again, if you don't care about romance, then this may be your, close relationship life other than the rest of your family and friends. So it's so funny that we got the Hermit because, like I said a moment ago, some of you really could be feeling like nothing's been happening in your love life. And because I have all this spiritual awakening energy with some of you, I think that this could be really talking about the fact that for right now, you may be continuing to spend some time alone, but it's actually quite enjoyable time. And one thing is, and so again, this isn't necessarily going to apply to you if you're in a relationship, but for those of you who are not, or not feeling close to anybody right now or something like that, there's actually a message around enjoying this now because it's not going to be forever. And that's not to it's not to sound like a threat, but really it's that there are going to be some close connections coming, whether that is this year or later. And right now you've got some precious, precious alone time that you may really want to soak in and enjoy and squeeze every ounce of it out so that you enjoy it while you can, because it's not that you're not going to be able to have alone time moving forward, but if you're spending a lot of time with someone down the line, you may not have this great expanse of time to yourself to do as you wish every moment. So, if you like taking baths or doing spa type activities, if you like to read books for hours a day, or you like to cuddle up and watch shows and look ugly, or whatever it is that you enjoy doing while you're alone, you're going to be doing some of that this year, and you are going to be spending some time alone. And if you are partnered, or if this, being single doesn't apply to you, you may still find that in this year ahead, it will be very important for you to have those moments alone. So really carving out solitary, solo, alone time that doesn't involve anyone else. And making sure to make that a consistent part of your routine. So if that's an hour every day or one day a week or whatever it is that you can get, it is time to do that. There's so much magic in this card, and there's so much magic in being alone and in being with your own company, your own thoughts, and the things kind of moving through you, because I think this is also part of your healing this year, where you're releasing stuff that's been with you recently or for a while. And so you may do that by doing like water magic in the bath or candle magic with these candles here. There's a lot of like, it feels like spell work in this card. So doing spell work to release things, cord cutting, that kind of stuff. But, a lot of releasing work and things around healing are sometimes easier when you're alone, or this could even be, if you are in a couple and you go to couples counseling, but you don't have an individual counselor or something like that, it could be a good time for that as well. It's time to prioritize yourself, your needs, and your healing this year. And then we have this King of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. And this is really funny to me because we have the energy of 3 in both of these cards. Even though we have the King of Pentacles, we have 3 figures. And it's like, we don't, in this question, we kind of want to see like 2 figures if you're wanting to have, be part of a couple or something. So definitely not for everybody here, but some people may be polyamorous or have a more open relationship, or if that's something you've been wanting to do and work out with your partner, now might be the time that you're actually doing that. And if so, it feels like a positive thing. That's not going to be for most people here. Really, it's more like, if you are in a couple already, you may have like another really close friend that both of you love hanging out with. And so you hang out a lot with that other person this year. It could be that a lot of your love life with your partner this year is around meeting other people, meeting new friends, meeting other people that you both really vibe with, and having mutual friends. For those of you who are single, there could be multiple options that come up, and that you'll have like choices that feel sort of similar at first. Like, well, I could date that person or this person. And like, even if you haven't dated in a long time, you suddenly have like 2 options in front of you, and they may be hard to choose from at first. But also there's a strong feeling here that, especially because we have this Hermit and this other energy that we've talked about, that you may spend more of your energy and time this year on friendship, relationships, family, community, acquaintances, things like that. And while there is some partnership energy here, it doesn't seem to be the focus this year. Yes, you could meet someone this year, definitely. And you could start something up that would be potentially very long-term and stable. But also, it could be that you're kind of working on other things in the background, and then again, enjoy that while you can, because things do seem to be changing in the future. And I've heard a reader recently say the Three of Cups is third-party energy for her. I don't get that, but if for some reason, it made me think, like, if for some reason someone was looking at this and worrying about a third party in their relationship, this doesn't feel like that at all. For some reason, I feel like someone's worrying about it, and this actually feels like everyone's getting along. Everything's out in the open, and that mostly a lot of your energy is spent on your healing and your release and your brightening up. And I think people are showing up here because even though I'm talking about you spending some time on your own, there's still a lot of connection energy happening in this next year, a lot of time spent communicating with other people, time, in other people's physical presence, meeting new people, enjoying old. But having sort of a focus on yourself. And I think part of what's happening with you releasing is that it's making you feel more and more authentically yourself, more and more light and bright, and it's actually attracting new positive energies in toward you. So let's look at your other relationships, friendships, family, and community. So we have the Sun, this Page of Wands, and the Four of Wands. And overall, this looks really positive. It's really bright, sunny energy. I mean, there's so much orange and yellow in these cards. And, we have a lot of family stuff going on here. So if you are close to your family, if you like your family, if you have a family, you could have a lot of really positive memories and moments with them and connection with them this year. If you have friends that feel like family, this could be about them, or wherever you're spending your time around other people. It could even be in a work environment, or wherever you currently feel some sense of community. This looks really positive. There's a lot of celebration, eating food together, coming together, potlucks, cooking, different generations and ages talking and connecting. This could even be connection over a hobby if you are in a hobby group or in a class or something like that. But, with this looking like Halloween here too, you could find that in this next year, there's a lot more holiday celebration than normal. Or if you normally do that with friends and family, that's just continuing to happen. So whether that's Halloween or whatever holidays that you celebrate, Thanksgiving or New Year's or whatever, there's time together and there's time celebrating. And so it just feels like happy connection. It doesn't feel like anybody's really fighting. And that's not to say no one will, but it feels like everybody's kind of getting along. There's balance, there's harmony, there's joy of being together. There's a feeling of connection and familiarity. There's a lot of time, I think, this year with people you already know and love, or you get closer to people that have sort of been in your orbit. But it's interesting, I think, because over here we have these two cards that remind me of each other. We have these two over here, and then we have this one and then this one that are just kind of out. So even though it seems like you're enjoying time with people, you're connecting with other people, you're having good memories and things like that, there's still these bookends of you doing things on your own. And this Page of Wands makes me think about all these lizards are climbing on her, and it's almost overwhelming. It's again, this dealing with what's coming forward, anger, anxiety, old beliefs, anything that's sort of been in the way of you living your most authentic life or your most happy, joyful, free life. That stuff is coming to the surface and you're dealing with it a lot this year. Overall, things look pretty good, but that energy continues to show up. So let's look at your career, finances, and stability. And then we'll move these cards out of the way for our final series of questions. So if you are not working, if you don't have a career or a job, you're retired or you're in school or you just don't work for whatever reason, take whatever resonates, but this is basically the stability section, kind of looking at how things look for you. So let's take a look. What is Group 1's career looking like in the year ahead? Finances and stability. The 9 of Wands. The 10 of Cups. The Ace of Wands. Okay, interesting. Nothing like I would expect to come out with this question for some reason. Okay, so when we look at your career life, we do have two Wands cards. One of them is the Ace of Wands. And then we have the Nine of Wands. And that can sometimes be something you don't want to see, because traditionally that card has, someone who looks injured and tired and dealing with stuff. But this one is a lot more positive looking, and it's paired with this Ace of Wands. So it feels really magical and positive. So we have this figure lighting all of these candles. We have all the tools that the magician has. We have this candle being lit and this wand being lit. So it feels actually pretty powerful. So the first thing I want to say is some of you are self-employed or wanting to start your own business. And if that's the case, it seems like that could really happen this year, or things could really start to move forward this year, and that you seem to be more focused on what you want, focused on the passionate parts of your job or your career. And this can also be your hobbies or projects, but it seems like there's more excitement, and where it may have felt like you're kind of slogging through it in the past, or things have felt kind of tiring and draining lately, it seems like this year there's more passion, inspiration, and motivation, and that you may start something entirely new, an entirely new position, job, your own business, something that brings the spark back and makes you feel excitement again for this area of your life. And it feels quite abundant. We have so many candles, even this being like the Ace of Wands. We'd expect one candle, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 9 over here. So there's a lot of abundant energy and things sort of like taking spark. It's like we had one candle lit, and so now we can light all the other candles, and we can light the wand, and we can light something on fire in a happy way. So things look really exciting and good. And then we have this 10 of Cups as well, which feels like, it's depicting a wedding, and it's the final card of the cups before we get to the court cards. And so it feels like we have the start of something, and we have renewed passion, and it's something that we can depend on for the long term, that becomes something really beautiful, something that we commit to, and something that brings like a happy new phase to our lives. So this is overall quite positive. And when we look at money, I guess that's where it's kind of like these cards don't necessarily right away scream money. So that says to me, and this isn't going to say that you're going to be poor this year at all, but it may not be a year where you are like more abundantly wealthy than you've ever been. You certainly could be. It's like, if money is what you're trying to manifest more specifically than anything else, or something that you're working on this year, we do have a pentacle here. It feels like we're lighting these candles and calling things in and manifesting things that will be abundant in the long term. So yes, more money could be coming in, certainly, especially if that's something you're actively working on, but it may not be a main focus of your year. It may not really be a problem. And whatever you're working toward this year, I think is going to pay off with more money eventually. And when we talk about stability here, it does feel like you feel very stable and secure and safe in the relationships that you already have, and possibly in new relationships coming in. So relationships feel quite stable. I think that makes you feel generally stable in other areas of your life as well. But yeah, again, it feels like for those of you in a couple, you'll have more mutual friends or something like that. For those of you who are single and someone is coming in this year, I don't think that's the case for most of you necessarily, other than, well, someone could come in this year for romance, but I think that it would be a slow start, but that ultimately, if you do meet someone this year, it could be for the long term, and it could be very, very happy, and it would feel very stabilizing, but yeah, it might be a slow start. So let's move these out of the way. And then we're going to look at opportunities, blessings, good things that are coming in. So what are the good things, the opportunities that are coming in for group 1? The Magician. The Four of Swords, and the King of Cups. So with opportunities and blessings and good things coming in, we see you in this very independent energy, and also being able to manifest things and manifest what you want. So your powers of manifestation could be much more expanded this year, and your ability to call in the things that you want. So I think that you're really standing in your power spiritually, and because you're also clearing some things out of the way, some old beliefs, some old emotions and things like that, it opens you up to being more clear when you manifest, because things are no longer in the way. So I think that also you are liberating yourself. And because of that, you're going to more easily and quickly call in the things that you have been wanting and do want. And it feels very happy. It doesn't feel like overly serious. It feels like you have fun with manifesting, and fun with this kind of new limitlessness that you're starting to experience more of. The Four of Swords is a card of rest, recuperation, taking a little bit of time off, not worrying too much about all of your responsibilities. And so I think that you have an opportunity this year to rest, to not push yourself too hard, and to not work too much on the things that you don't enjoy. I think that one thing you're doing with releasing, with letting go of stuff that's been quote unquote in the way, it allows you to see more clearly what you do and do not enjoy. It allows your external life to start shifting. So the things that feel like a lot of work, the things that you don't really enjoy, start to fade out of your life and are no longer an issue. So if it's like, if you're in a job that you absolutely hate, but you've been doing a lot of releasing around that, releasing around the boss that you hate and all the things you hate about your job, you start to notice things shifting at your job because of that internal work you're doing. And then you no longer feel like you have to work so hard. You don't have to deal with difficult people as much. It's that kind of thing. So this is really positive because it's like your life is becoming more fun and easy and less challenging in negative ways. And then we have this King of Cups here too. So, for singles, I have said, like, there could be someone that comes in, but maybe not. But this could be talking about someone coming in again. So there is this kind of slow moving energy of a potential person coming in where you move kind of slowly toward them, maybe because you're not sure at first, but they could be a really creative person. They could be really emotionally intelligent and wise and have sort of a calm, sort of gentle demeanor, even if they're like excitable and things like that. But this could also be talking about, because you're working with your emotions potentially, this could also be talking about you and your emotional maturity and intelligence and clarity, and you being able to have stronger, healthier boundaries, to see more clearly who deserves your time and attention, to be more discerning, to be more comfortable with your own feelings and other people's feelings, and not feeling like you have to take them on and make them yours, but having more emotional distance and allowing people to take responsibility for their own feelings without just leaving them to be miserable on their own. But it's more like you could be just having healthier boundaries around that stuff. There could be, because this King of Cups looks like an art teacher here, there could be an opportunity to teach if that's something that you've wanted to do or that you do and you just want a different opportunity. Something here around teaching or having the opportunity to further your education in something that you really enjoy, potentially something creative, but potentially something that just lights you up. And it kind of feels like whatever you want this year, whatever feelings you want to experience, whatever things you want to draw into your life, you have the ability to kind of pick and choose and to move toward what you want. But part of the key, I think, here is moving toward what lights you up and what feels joyful, and not spending too much of your attention and your time on things that don't. It's like I keep getting the message that you can manifest what you want and you can have what you want. And by releasing, it allows you to pull things in faster. And yet there's this continuous sort of slower energy happening. But I think part of it is that as you release, you also grow more patient. So it stops mattering so much if certain things happen. If you are single, it stops mattering so much that you have a partner. If you have a partner, it stops mattering so much that they act a certain way. If you want to make more money, that also stops being so important. It's like you're able to let go of the importance and the meaning behind things and to have a clearer sense of what really is meaningful to you and a clearer sense of how important certain things are to have right now. And you seem to be more present in your reality, and that's a really beautiful thing. Let's take a look at what lessons or obstacles may be coming your way in the next year and how to handle them. I do have a feeling of you feeling kind of like, it's not restless. It's like you don't really want to do a lot or do certain things. So you may have a challenge of feeling kind of lazy or lackadaisical or apathetic. It doesn't feel depressing, but it kind of feels like maybe you'd rather have that bath than cook dinner, or you'd rather read your book than go for that walk or whatever. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it feels like a challenge because you judge yourself for it, or you worry that it's not going to get you anywhere if all you do is take baths and read your book, something like that. But it doesn't feel like it's actually an obstacle to anything. The obstacle, the block, the thing that is meant to be released is actually around how you are judging yourself for these things, or how you're worried other people will judge you, or for feeling like you're lazy and don't do anything and aren't going to get anywhere. There could be something here around that for you. The Eight of Swords and the Seven of Wands. And the Queen of Swords. Okay, so the Eight of Swords is kind of talking about what I was just saying. There's this feeling of like, oh, there's all these things I should do, or I need to do, or I have to do, but I don't want to. I just want to lay here, or I even want to work on releasing things. Like you might have a releasing practice where you actively work on like letting things come forward, or relaxing your body, or letting go of things. And if that's the case, you may want to do more. You find yourself wanting to do that more rather than like doing activities. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to eat unhealthy if I don't make that dinner, but I want to sit here and continue to work on this like sadness that's come up, something like that. And again, there's this feeling of feeling like lazy, or it's not what you should be doing, but there's nothing wrong with it. I think you're actually meant to be resting this year, and you're meant to take it easy in some ways, and that you're not falling behind, or you're not going to miss out on opportunities or things that you want or are meant for you. You're actually meant to do some resting. You're meant to do releasing. You're meant to do some healing. And when we talk about healing, sometimes we forget that a part of healing is rest, allowing things to take care of themselves in your body, in your mind, in your emotional field, and allowing things to integrate and to process and to release themselves. And so I think that part of your healing journey, which is what you seem to be sort of on this year, is around resting and allowing things to kind of happen in the background as well. So the challenge is really around accepting that, allowing it, and letting it be okay. But with the Eight of Swords, sometimes we also get a stuckness. And so there may be moments where you also feel stuck. You may feel stuck in your journey of healing or releasing. You may feel stuck in life, in some other aspect of life. And so, when we talk about how to handle that, let's do the Seven of Wands first, but we'll talk about how to work with that stuckness. So we also have this Seven of Wands. And, this particular one is really making me feel, again, like this person is very composed, but then we have all this kind of like, these red lizards aren't like fully formed. It's like they're kind of like haunting her and messing with her energy a little bit, is sort of how it feels to me right now. And so again, it's this feeling of like, you're releasing anger, you're releasing emotional stuff. And it's like, you're sending it out of your energy field to go off and do its own thing wherever it belongs. And that with this graph here, there may be some ups and downs with this. So you may have moments where you're feeling really free, you're feeling happier and more peaceful than you've ever felt, you're feeling more spiritually connected, things are seeming to flow, your external world is becoming better. And then you'll have moments where you go down again. And it's like, oh, I thought I already dealt with this depression, or I thought I already dealt with this anxiety. And so it can feel like you're going up and down, when in reality, as you're releasing things, it's allowing other things to come to the surface. So you're making headway. It just doesn't always feel like it in the moment. So that can also feel like you're sort of stuck in it, and stuck in ups and downs, and stuck in cycles. So then we have this Queen of Swords with how to handle these challenges and these obstacles, and in this case, this stuckness. And so one thing I always have with the Queen of Swords is the Queen of Swords does not suffer fools. So if anyone is in your orbit and making you feel bad about your decisions, making you feel bad about what you're choosing to do, annoying you, adding stressful energy to your plate instead of happy, healthy energy. And not that no one's going to stress you out all year, but like anyone who is sort of being a fool in your life this year, making you feel worse, judging you, anything like that, the Queen of Swords does not suffer fools. So have boundaries with anyone like that this year, because I think that your beliefs about yourself and what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing and how you're falling behind and stuff, that comes from parents, it comes from society, it comes from other people. So it doesn't come from you unless those beliefs formed from other people, other beliefs. It's, you're a blank slate as a baby. You don't come into this life believing that you need to live a certain kind of life. So you may be doing some work around removing those limiting beliefs, those self-judgments that came from somebody else, that voice in your head that doesn't belong to you, and spending less time around people who are judgmental or who have a negative self-image and project that onto you. So really, it's kind of nice because your lessons or your obstacles this year don't seem that bad. They might feel hard in the moment, but really it's all leading to your sense of freedom, limitlessness, openness, light, love, joy, all of these wonderful things that I think you've already been working toward, because it doesn't feel like it's like a sudden pop necessarily. It might be, but you are... even the challenges, even the harder things are lending to this freedom because you're releasing and you're becoming more wise and tuned in with yourself and trusting of yourself over other people. And you're still having wonderful relationships. And yet you are the voice that you listen to. Your intuition is the voice that you are listening to. And it's really nice. So I've got some more oracle cards for some guidance here at the end. So we have for you, number 32, total submersion. Don't be afraid to totally immerse yourself in a project, interest, or goal. Give it 100% of your energy, and you may find what your life has been lacking. We have labradorite, see the magic. Okay, we have surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. Okay, well, again, there's this energy of you spending time with you, you getting to know you, you enjoying your time with yourself, and remembering the magic and soaking in the magic of who you are. And so again, this can be about the fact that in the future, you may not have as much time to spend with yourself. So this is like quality time with yourself time. And realizing everything about you that makes you wonderful, but because it feels so spiritual, it makes me feel again that you are connecting with the truest part of you. It's not just that you're appreciating your own internal and external beauty or your values or your qualities that make you the person that you are. It's also getting more in touch with your higher self, your happiest self, your truest self, and living more from that place, which is very joyful and feels more whole. And if you ever feel any kind of lack, this year, you may be feeling less and less of that as you're more connected to yourself. And so there's guidance around, again, making sure to spend that time with yourself, sending yourself love and appreciating who you are, and see the magic. And we talked about magic earlier as well. I think that there is guidance around being aware of the magic in the mundane, the magic in you, the magic in other people, in nature, in the things that you enjoy, in the things you think you shouldn't enjoy, but you still do, your guilty pleasures. See the magic in all of it, because it's there. It's only a shift in your perspective, and something is shifting with your perspective this year. Something is shifting you to allow you to see things more clearly and more truthfully. And this total submersion makes me think that you are finally submerging yourself in the energy of who you truly are, and releasing what has stood in the way for all these years, or what has stood in the way even after you've done a lot of other things to release. But I think this is actually really talking about not being afraid to totally immerse yourself in your spirituality, your healing work, whatever it is that will make you feel more free. It may not be those things, but I will say that it will feel like something that feels very gratifying and satisfying and worth the effort that you put into it, even when there might be hard moments. Like if you're doing some kind of emotional or energy healing, it may not be fun a lot of the time, but you'll really, really notice the payoff. You'll notice how much you're getting out of it, and you'll start to really see the changes. And so if you're wanting to go deeper into this or any aspect of it, this is your guidance to go ahead and go deeply this year, because this is really your chance to free yourself, because it feels to me like the rest of your life is still there. And so this is really where you're being pointed to go, toward healing, toward spirituality, toward release. And all these other things that you want are very possible, and they're going to become more and more possible as you get more clear. And as you get more clear, it's easier to draw these things in. So, if you think you're taking it too easy this year, or you're not doing all these things that other people think you should, or you think you should to get ahead, you don't need to worry about it. Do what feels right. I mean, you don't have to abandon everything and everyone in your life, but immersing yourself in healing and in rest and allowing things to come to the surface and be released is really what you're meant to do right now. So I think that's all I have for you to do, Group 1. I really hope this was helpful for someone. If it was, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment. I'll see you again soon, okay? Bye. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Citrine and the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Welcome to your reading. We're looking at your year ahead. I mentioned everything that we're covering in the intro already, so let's dive right in. Let me set the tarot aside temporarily. And we're going to take a look at oracle cards for the energy, the theme of the year, your main focus, and feelings. So we have seasons, unfolding, flute, disappointment in a friend or lover, and we have dog, far away, a distant friend is thinking of you. Okay, interesting. Okay, so some of you could be dealing with, I think you might currently be dealing with someone sort of stressful, or someone that has been disappointing you, and that it's been going on for some time now. And you may be wondering what's going to be going on with that relationship in the year ahead. Some of you, I'm getting that some of you are moving with the seasons and the far away here. So it could be that you're planning a move in the next year, and you're actually going to be moving to an entirely new location. Maybe if it's like you've lived in California all your life, and then you're going to be moving somewhere with like 4 distinct seasons, or something like that could be happening for some of you, which also means that you may be leaving some people behind. And so that could be on your mind this year as you're going through this year. But mostly it feels actually pretty positive. So of course we will look at relationships if you resonated with that part of it, but it feels like there's movement forward this year, and that it may feel slow at times. It may feel like, seasons of your life are passing you by and that it's a very slow kind of unfurling here and that it's been like a long road. And so there may be some energy of needing to allow to be present with things as they are, to be patient, to see the beauty in things. With this seasons card, it's making me think of seeing and feeling the beauty of every season, as things change, as they stay the same, being able to see the beauty of it. And it makes me think about, if you take the same walk every single day, instead of getting bored with it, you notice something new. It feels like this year you are either learning to or spending more time enjoying what you already have. And if you are making big changes, then you are finding comfort in the things that are the same. Even if you move somewhere where you don't know anyone and everything about your life is now changing, you still have things internal that are the same. There's always something that's still the same. And you may find some comfort in that this year. I have to say, with this group, it's not abundantly clear what the energy is. It feels like a lot of different things are going on. And it kind of makes me think there could be like 4 different types of groups within this group or something. And all these rainbow colors, it's like the year ahead also just isn't yet clear. It makes me think about, this is like weather, and you check your weather app or you check the weather channel or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, it's going to snow. Trust me, 96%, baby, it is snowing tomorrow. And so you're like, okay, you prepare for it. You're ready. You get groceries ahead of time. And then tomorrow comes and it's like a weirdly warm winter's day. There's not any snow. The sun is shining. It's like, you can prepare as much as you want, but something about this year upcoming is not that it's going to be like constantly stressful and surprising, but that really you don't know what's going to happen. And so it does feel like things could be changing when you don't expect them to change. You may go through transitions you didn't really expect to go through. And it doesn't feel like towery. We'll see what the tarot cards say, but it doesn't feel like intense, huge changes, just that there are ups and downs. You may have trouble preparing for things because there will be things that you don't expect. And some of the things that you may not expect are with people that like maybe you don't expect them to act or do a certain thing, or there's things about this year where things are unfolding, and because of that, you can't see it all clearly just yet. It's not all clear. It's not clear if it's winter or if it's summer. It's like, there's just a lack of things being fully clear here. So let's get into the tarot, shall we? Oh. Okay, let me give these a good shuffle, and then we're going to start with relationships. So let's start with romantic relationships. If you don't care about romance, we can talk about just think of it as maybe your closest relationship or a close relationship. Then we'll get into your other relationships, friends and family and community, and then we'll go from there. So for group 2, tell me about their love life. 2 of Pentacles and the Tower. Okay, and the 3 of Swords. Okay. Tell me about group 2's other relationships. Friends, family, community. The Ace of Pentacles. The 4 of Wands. And and the Ace of Cups. Okay. So I'm going to say right now, if you're in a relationship, for example, that is not experiencing any issues, if you're just kind of like staying in this group so far because you picked it, but you're not necessarily sure it's yours, if this doesn't resonate, go ahead and try another group, because I don't want to make anyone nervous that doesn't need to be nervous. So what I get here, for some of you who are in a relationship or you're very close with someone, because we had friend in these cards, friend or lover, someone that you're dating or very close to that you've already been experiencing some stuff with, because I don't think it could come out of the blue, but it kind of feels like you've already been dealing with some ups and downs, already trying to figure out whether to stay or to go, or to have better boundaries with this person or something like that. So if you relate to having someone like that in your life, and again, if you're single, this could be someone else in your life. It could be a family member, even though we're talking about family and friends over here, someone you're close to. This might be the year where it finally is going to end, or there's going to be a huge change in this relationship, and it will be painful. It will not be easy, but the thing is that you can see it clearly now. So I think that if this is resonating, it's because you've already been dealing with the unknown here. You've already been kind of worried about it. You've already been kind of feeling stressed out. There have been things going wrong. This person has been doing things to betray you or lie to you, or they've been up and down, or they're very emotionally unregulated, something, or you've been suspecting a lot of things. And it's not that you are just always paranoid. It just really feels like in this case, something's going on. Well, then you would be right, and it will be revealed. And so it may be very sudden, even though it's like been a long time coming. Maybe you know something's going to end, but no matter what, the Tower often has this feeling of being very sudden. So it might be that you're finally like, this is the last straw. This is the last thing I'm going to deal with. And if this is the case, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this, but this Three of Swords doesn't feel as heartbreaking as it often does. What it feels like is, finally, you can see clearly what someone has been doing to hurt you. You can very clearly understand what's going on. It's like the truth is there, and yes, it hurts, but now you can do something about it, rather than dwelling in the hurt, going up and down, back and forth, and not sure what to do about it. So, if this is what's going on, I'm so sorry, but it's for the best, and it's going to lead you somewhere much better with a firmer, stronger foundation. I think that some of you maybe have been with someone for a long time, and you have tried over and over and over again. We have this really tall tower, and the tower has a shaky foundation, but this one looks pretty solid too. So it might be that you had many solid years with a person, or you thought you did, or you put in a lot of work, and something is changing here. If you still think that this is your group and you don't relate to this, this could be that something, if you like live with a partner or live with your closest friend or something like that, something could happen to the place you live. And yes, it would be a little stressful, but ultimately you would be okay, and you would balance things out and figure something else out. If you have been juggling a couple people in your dating life, this is not going to, you can't continue to do that this year. So if you relate to that, it may become very, very clear again that someone is not for you, and it will be, you can give up the juggling act. But if this is past energy for you, if you recently had an ending with someone, if you have dealt with really big, hard endings in romantic or close relationships, there is still either some grieving or some healing or some emotions around that this year. But they are starting to balance out, and it's starting to become like the past, like a memory. And again, it feels like these can be easily slid out. These swords can be removed. And so there may be some heart healing going on this year where You deal with any grief, any sadness, any anger, any anxiety, anything that came along with the pain that you dealt with in relationships. And you are balancing out and becoming more healthy and healed in order to move forward. I will say, I don't see, and when I say a year ahead, yes, we're kind of looking at year ahead energies, but honestly, energies can be shorter, they can be longer, So this isn't necessarily for the next year. You're going to deal with pain and you're not going to meet someone new. It's just for right now, the kind of current energies are this, and that right now you're working on healing your own heart and dealing with any disappointment that you've had with other people. And, it just calls me back to these cards again, where we have a distant friend thinking of you, disappointment, a friend or lover. You could already be separated from someone or in no contact with someone, and that person may be thinking a lot about you, but you are quite disappointed in some action of theirs. I don't know if they betrayed you or something else, but it seems like you've got to work on your own healing around that before considering whether or not you would let this person in. And so it seems to be related to this. So let's move over here to much happier cards when it comes to family and friends. So, I like to say not everyone's close with their family, and that's okay. So if you love your family and you're close to your family, great. If I talk about family and you're not close to your family, this is your chosen family, your friends, the people that you do like and care about. And so cool, we have 2 aces. So, and we have some stability here and some celebration here. So you could be meeting new friends, new people that feel like family, meeting people who feel like soul family, who feel like they're emotionally on your level, that they are stable and secure. There's a lot of happy, joyful, and secure and long-term and celebratory energy here. So I do think for some of you, even if you're like, oh, I already have, I love my family and I love my friends, there's still are likely to be new people that are coming into your life this year that you will greatly love and know for a long time. Or you may find that relationships that were sort of surface level deepen in a really happy way, like you sort of are more emotionally on the same page, and that it's really happy. It feels really happy. The Four of Wands sometimes talks about weddings, and because this is not in the romantic cards, it could be that you are attending someone else's wedding, like your sister's wedding or your friend's wedding or something. And this could be a really happy event for the family, or you could meet someone at an event like this, or a some kind of celebration or party. Someone in the family could be giving birth this year. They could be getting pregnant, and this would be a happy thing. So this wouldn't be a worrying thing. Yeah, it feels like joy, fresh beginnings, new energy, commitment, abundance, and good things. You could meet someone who benefits your career or your finances somehow. Someone could get you in a better job. You could be making more money this year, which allows you to do more things where you meet new people. And all these flowers in these cards are making me think about spring and summer. So it could be that as you're moving through these energies and getting into the spring and summer season, if that's not where you already are when you're watching this, it could be that's when things really start to come to fruition and expand in your life. And your social life seems to be getting a lot of fresh, joyful, happy energy that could turn into really long-lasting things. So let's look at your career and your finances and your stability in general. If you don't have a career, if you don't have a job, you don't plan on having a job, if you're retired, whatever, this can be about your hobbies, or you can just wait to listen to the rest of it. Temperance. Ten of Pentacles. And the Three of Cups. Looks pretty good to me. So, Okay, let's start with the Ten of Pentacles since we're talking about finances and stability. This is fantastic. I mean, to have 10 pentacles rather than any other number is wonderful. So it could be that your finances are really stable this year, really that you're really abundant this year. With Temperance, sometimes we see with Temperance that there may be multiple income streams, or you're doing multiple things to earn money, maybe multiple jobs, or that money is starting to come in from multiple places. Some people here could be receiving an inheritance this year. It could even be one that you've already been waiting on, and finally it actually comes through. But it feels happy. So it doesn't feel like you're losing someone important to you right now, other than someone that was maybe causing you pain. But you could also be receiving more gifts from like family or people that feel like family, or even from your job could be giving out more bonuses this year. But money looks good. And it does feel like, again, you could be kind of balancing. You get money from here, you get money from here, and you get money from here, but it doesn't feel like you're working too hard. Even though it feels like multiple income streams, some of them you may not have to put any work into. Maybe you're making money from things that you did in the past, or maybe people are giving you money, but it feels overall like a good and positive thing, and it feels energetic. And so you have the energy to do whatever work that you are doing, and that also it feels very healing. And so if you have been dealing with or will be dealing with pain in a relationship, I think that your work life or your hobby life, whatever you're pouring your other energy into, is really panning out and helping to take your mind off of this and helping you to heal and to come to a place of security and structure and stability again, because somebody really maybe messed with that. But in other areas of your life, it's very present and joyful and happy. And so I think all of this energy is helping you to heal from this energy. And, we have this happiness and this joy with the Three of Cups when we look at stability. And we also have the figure in the front wearing a red dress. And red makes me think about safety and security and stability and a healthy, happy root chakra and abundance. So again, we have this feeling of celebrating our safety and our abundance, and possibly even our freedom from someone who did not deserve your time. So overall, this is good. When I talked about this possibly being for some people their living situation, if something does happen with your living situation, and it may be sudden and you may have anxiety at first, but it would not last long. You would find something that is much better, that makes you much happier and much more peaceful. Or like if you are dealing with someone where you're having to move out because you broke up or something like that, it's all going to be fine. And it looks fine very quickly because all of this energy is like what's happening now-ish and in the near future. So it's not like pain, then good stuff. It's like pain and good stuff. So yeah, it sucks that you have to have some pain, but everything else is looking really abundant and good and positive and happy. So we like to see that. So let's look at more opportunities and good things coming in. We will look at any lessons or obstacles and how to handle them, and then some final guidance. Okay, what opportunities or good things are coming in the next year for group 2? We have the 8 of Cups and the 8 of Pentacles. Let's get one more. And the 6 of Cups. Let's talk about lessons or obstacles. Yeah, okay. So we've got the Devil. We have the 7 of Cups. Let's get one more to see how to handle them. Okay, we have the Empress. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff, okay? The opportunities and good things coming in. I want to start with this 8 of Cups, and I'm glad it immediately was here at the beginning. So again, this talks about you walking away from something more than likely, because of everything else we've seen, it is a person, it is a relationship, it is something that was unhealthy and toxic. We see the devil over here. So you are choosing to walk away, even though there may still have been good things or a lot of hope left. But you are trusting your intuition and moving toward things that are more meaningful, that are more practical, and that you can pour your energy into and will actually bring reward. Because if you've been dealing with a non-reciprocal relationship for a long time, or however long it's been, you've been putting a lot of your energy, your generosity, your kindness, your love, whatever it is you've been putting into a relationship and someone else. And it feels that either they stopped giving to it, or you're realizing that they never really gave in any kind of true reciprocal manner or equal. Yeah, you're choosing yourself. You are choosing yourself, and that is bringing you more security and safety. Somehow you've been involved with someone or something that has stolen that from you and has made it harder to feel safe and secure. And this is coming through as a good thing, because it is, again, telling you that if you are in the situation we've talked about and you've been thinking about leaving and you just haven't felt ready, this will be your time to leave. And that it brings in structure, stability, safety, and it brings in abundance with these 8s, and that being a number of prosperity and abundance. So, and then we have these pentacles here, and then we have a much happier cups card than this one. So basically you have an opportunity to walk away, an opportunity to choose yourself and to start fresh. And you are absolutely meant to take that. And you also have this opportunity, again, to put your energy into things and to people who give back, who care about more of an equal give and take. And you have good things coming in the form of abundance and money. So again, there is this possibility that you could make a lot more money this year, or put in the work into things where more money will come. It feels like whatever you're doing, wherever you're putting your energy, whether it is work or somewhere else, it is panning out. And so you really have an opportunity this year to make headway. And I wonder as well if you've been working on a certain project or in career or something and dealing with someone that was draining your energy and stressing you out. And so it may have taken you away from other things you were passionate about or other places that you could give your energy. And so by leaving or walking away and reclaiming your energy, you're able to put it more toward the things that will pan out, the things that will provide security, and the things that you really want to give energy to. Again, there's this feeling that new people could be coming into your life that feel like family, and that also feel like people you can be your kid self with in a way, who brings out your inner child and you do the same for them. Someone that it may feel as easy as making a friend when you're a kid, or you laugh very easily, or they remind you of someone that you knew when you were a kid. There's this feeling of people coming in that feel safe in the way that it feels safe to make friends as a kid. And it could be romantically. Certainly, it could be that someone is coming in to make a romantic offer. But because I think that, because in the romantic section, we got information about leaving and someone being not so healthy for you, that I think that this would be more related to friends who feel like family, or feeling connected again to your family of origin, or to the place that you are from. Like, let's say you were in a long-term relationship and you moved to another country to be in that relationship, and now you're leaving it and you have to go back to where you're from. And there's actually happiness with that. When we look at lessons or obstacles and how to handle them, first and foremost, we have the devil. I should have probably covered up these figures, but I'll just use my fingers. So this is really leading me again to thinking that you've been in an unhealthy or toxic situation or relationship with someone that has been draining your energy. It may have felt like it was addictive in some ways. It may have felt very controlling, obsessive, possessive. It may feel like you were trapped in it, or that you're currently trapped in it and you don't know how to escape. So that's partly an obstacle, is if you haven't left yet, it may feel hard to leave. And so that could be really, really difficult. It could also, there's a lesson here in learning, if this is a person, really picking up on the signs that someone is going to be healthy or not healthy, picking up on the signs that they may have a personality disorder that will not work for you, or whether they are manipulative or dishonest or trustworthy or controlling. All these things you're starting to understand. This is what makes someone unhealthy. And also you may have just dealt with someone with addiction issues, and maybe that's why they acted the way they did. And you have to peace out because you can't fix that for somebody else. You could be supportive, but they have to do the work themselves. So there may be lessons around how you will be in relationships moving forward and who you will trust. If you have dealt with any addiction issues, this could be talking about that, how that could be a focus this year that you are learning things around and moving past. We also have this 7 of Cups, and sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming, like there are too many things, too many choices, too many things to focus on, to look at, to sort out, to figure out. And this could be an obstacle where you feel like it's hard for you to focus. Although in some of these cards, I do see you being able to focus and that being really positive. But I wonder if you will struggle at first with like where to put your energy in your mind, especially if your brain is kind of scrambled from being in a relationship to someone that was stressing you out and causing any kind of illness or anxiety or anything like that. So there could just be some overwhelm as you're moving toward that and not being sure what to do or where to go. I also kind of feel like, again, there's that addictive quality. Like either this person felt like this relationship with them felt addictive or something else. And so if that's the case, it may be just a little bit challenging this year to remove your focus from that and start putting it on other things. And if you've focused for a long time on a specific person to the detriment of other areas of your life, it may be a little bit hard at first to start putting your attention on other things again and to have other things have priority again. And so when it comes to handling these lessons or these obstacles, we get this beautiful Empress, very abundant energy again. So really, with this red again, it makes me think of that healthy root chakra and feeling grounded and rooted and stable and secure. And so working on your security, being around people who you feel safe with, working on things that make you feel financially abundant, being creative and working on creative projects and dressing yourself how you want to dress, and maybe, doodling and doing art or creative writing or anything like that is going to help you move through and past these energies, because it feels like they've kind of already been going on and you're already moving through them. But, focusing on yourself and your self-worth and building yourself back up and finding your freedom and leaving behind something that was draining you and becoming more full of life, you're just naturally going to move through these things. So really what it comes down to is, so far, we have something difficult you've been dealing with. You're going to be walking away from something. You're dealing with some stuff because of that, but you're naturally moving through it. You're moving toward more abundance. You're moving toward more stability, toward new and fresh relationships, toward happiness with other people, and toward a slow unfurling where you have maybe closed up because of someone or something, and now you're finally kind of opening back up again and becoming present again with the reality of, with the positive reality. So, we're done with the tarot, actually. You know what? We're going to go with some final guidance, and I have oracle cards for that. So for you, we have amble with contentment, the number 9. Waiting rather than acting is going to be most advantageous now. This just came up in another reading recently. We have Unakite, live in the now. Okay, and we have surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Okay, so your guidance overall here, group 2, is There's a little bit of similarity with group one now suddenly, but it is being present, living in the now, being present with the positive things currently happening, moving slowly forward, not pushing yourself too far other than maybe leaving something behind. There's energy again of having lovely people in your life, relying on other people, allowing other people in, but also not trying to force relationships, but allowing them to sort of come in on their own, surrendering to what is, yes, not fighting what you've had to deal with, not fighting an ending, but allowing it to end, allowing yourself to heal and to move forward and to be filled back up with health and well-being and light, and allowing, if someone was painful and hurtful and not good for you, if you keep trying to fight that, if you keep trying to believe that they would change and that if you gave them more time, or maybe you saw it wrong or whatever, it's not going to help you move forward. So what's best is to let it go, to realize that whatever ending had to happen. That doesn't mean that maybe there isn't a chance you can come back together with someone one day, but it wasn't good for you. It wasn't in your best interest, and there's something much better for you. So if you can accept things as they are, accept endings, allow them to be what they are, focus on your abundance and security and safety and the people who are safe and make you feel safe, and be very present and accepting with everything that is, the better off you're going to be and the faster you're going to get to where you want to go. So I think that's all I have for you today, group 2. If this reading was helpful at all, please let me know by liking the video or leave a comment. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hi, group 3. You chose the Grape Agate and the Fairy Tale Tarot. Welcome to your reading. We're looking at your year ahead. I mentioned everything we're covering in the intro already, so let's dive right in. Let me set the tarot temporarily aside. We are going to use these oracle cards to take a look at the energy of the year, the theme of the year, your main focus and feelings. So we have for you step by step. We have inspiration. We have success. And we have bow. You are highly thought of. Well, this seems abundantly clear right off the bat. Okay, so so we have this leg moving forward in business attire. Okay, we have green, which makes me think about money, and we have success here. And all this sparkly energy of being inspired. We have red, which is about safety and security and you being highly thought of. So I'm going to wager a guess that this group has a really career forward year coming. So if you are not working, if you don't have a career, don't plan on having a career, you're retired, whatever, this may not be your group, but it could also potentially be about some other project that you are inspired to move toward, and that you will be finding success in, and that people will really appreciate what you have to offer in this area. Yeah, it feels like you clearly know which direction to take. So the energy of this year is moving forward. It is building something. It is potentially and probably career and money. Your main focus and feelings could be about physical matters like career, like goals, like money. And your feelings could be very practical. This may not be an overly emotional year for the most part because you seem to be very grounded in practical energy, although there's also like inspiration and creativity here. But I do see financial success for some of you, certainly. It seems like money is doing really well. Money is coming in. Investments could be doing really well. Making moves up the career ladder, if that is something you are wanting to do or trying to do. You have more eyes on you. I mean, you're highly thought of. We have this open, inspired eye. And so it also could be that more and more people are aware of what you do, backing what you do, and are contributing to your success. This is making me think for some of you because, right now I'm doing a video on a YouTube channel and it's a faceless video. You don't see this person's face, you don't see most of their body. And so I wonder if there's something like this that you're doing, either this or something similar, where what you're putting out into the world doesn't reveal all of you or something like that, but you're still really thought of. The pieces and parts you put forward are well thought of and inspiring maybe for other people as well. So if what you are really wanting in the next year is to move forward in career, in money, to be seen and loved and find success, you are in the right group. But so we'll get more into career, but actually let me move these out of the way. But we're starting with relationship stuff. So let's take a look at what's going on with you in your relationships. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this deck. So give me a moment, please. Okay, so let's talk about group 3's love life. Ten of Pentacles. The High Priestess. Judgment. Let's talk about your other relationships, friends, family, community. We have the World, the Hanged Man, and the Ace of Swords. Okay, so when we look at your love life or your romantic life here on the left, we've got some big cards. We have 2 major arcana and we have the 10 of Pentacles. And so if you are single and wanting to be in a relationship, it kind of feels like you could be calling that forth, even though a lot of the attention this year is on career or money and that kind of thing. And it doesn't feel like it's a relationship year necessarily. It could still be a relationship year. This could be a year where someone is coming in that will be very supportive of your goals, your financial and career goals, who will be in it for the long haul and will contribute toward your financial stability and your stability in general. And also, if you did call someone in, they could be very easily and well accepted by your family or your chosen family, and that you may really love their family and they love you. But it feels like, we had so much like goals and business energy, and then we have this High Priestess. And it's so interesting that it makes me wonder if in your romantic life or when you're very close to someone, even if it's not romantic, that a very different side of you emerges that may be more intuitive, creative, more mystical and spiritual, and that side of you may not really show up in other areas, or that if you do call someone in this year, they really value those aspects of you, whether or not they're always around. You may be a lot more discerning with who comes in this year, if anyone comes in, and whether or not you feel like they are loyal, that you could be loyal to them, that they would love and accept the other people or animals or pets in your life, and be very accepting of you and your quirks as well. If you're already in a relationship, you could be making the call to go deeper with your commitment. So this could be getting engaged, getting married, getting a dog or a pet, having someone meet your family or your friends or that kind of thing, giving someone a key to your place, moving in together. Kind of these big relationship things could be happening. and that whatever it is seems very abundant and happy. And that there's, while there's this kind of long-term stability energy that's present here, there's also this fresh new beginning energy as well. So it does make me think that someone could be coming in for the long term, or if you are with someone, you could go to the next level of the long term, or into a sort of a deeper sense of each other, like getting to know even deeper levels of each other, even if you've been together for 30 years or something like this. And that as you move toward your goals this year, or you explore new things, it feels like you have quite a lot of support if you already have someone in your life. So when we look at your friends, family relationships, your community, we also have 2 major arcana, and then we have this ace. So there could be big things happening here as well. It's weird, I guess, because it's like, oh, big things. But in some ways, it doesn't feel like big things in both of these groups, because again, it feels like your focus is so on moving forward, and then it's not necessarily on relationships, and yet relationships still play a pivotal role and are important to you. But the first thing I get with these cards is that it may take some people in your life a little while to be on board with your vision or to see your vision. So if you are moving toward self-employment or toward a new project or a new career or something like that, it may be that you receive a little bit of judgment, or it might be that people kind of feel confused and don't really see where you're trying to go, and may even try to dissuade you from doing things that you want. Because it's like your inner circle, whether it's friends or family, they really care about you and want you to be successful and have everything. They want you to have the world. They want you to have success and to have fresh new beginnings. But yeah, I think for some reason, some of them don't quite get it. And they think with this Hanged Man, can't pick it up. My nails are too short. There's these grapes, and sometimes I talk about grapes being abundance. And so it kind of seems like, okay, here are these grapes up here, but instead you're hanging down here. And it's like, it would just be easier to walk up and take the grapes. But for some reason, they seem to think you're doing things the wrong way around. Like you're doing them the opposite way. And it's like, well, if you just did this, like group 3, you would be so successful. This is giving me energy of parents or older siblings thinking that they know what's best, and thinking that if you go a certain path, you will get to where you want to go. And or well-meaning friends or something like that. But you have a different vision. You're going about things in possibly a unique way, or in a way that's not typical, and yet you know what you're doing. You have a vision and a plan. It just doesn't make sense to someone who doesn't have your brain until they can sort of see it playing out. So some of the stuff we already talked about with what's going on for you this year, it does seem like the people that you love and care about will have either some opinions about it, or will be maybe invested. Because I also feel like some people are just really invested in what you're doing, and maybe they really do believe in you and what you do. They just can't always see the vision. But I feel like you have a lot of support, and they really want you to be successful, and they want you to have everything that you want. And so I feel like you have a lot of energy rooting behind you and helping to protect you and get you to where you want to go. So let's look at your career. Let's look at your finances. Let's look at your stability, because I feel like that's what you're really focused on. So let's take a look. The 2 of Wands. Temperance. The Empress. Let's grab another. And the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So more major arcana, so many major arcana. This may be a really major year for you, and one where you look back and you think that was a big year. A lot happened. I really moved forward. So we have this planning with this 2 of Wands, and this kind of watching to see things pan out. The Temperance came through in career for another group, and it can talk about having multiple income streams, putting energy in multiple areas to create one thing. So there may be multiple aspects to your job or to your goal. We see some of that with the Wheel of Fortune here as well. We also, can see luck with the Wheel of Fortune. We can see fate and things really turning in your favor. The Empress can talk about abundance and prosperity, creativity, things coming to fruition, projects and goals that you are nurturing. So overall, there's some really positive energy and some big energies when it comes to your goals, your career, your finances, and your security. You are really making big moves in that area this year. And so, because we have the Two of Wands versus the Three of Wands, there could feel like you're putting work into things, you're planning things, and that even though there may be a lot of big things happening, some of the reward with the ships coming in may be a little further out, but you are turning on this wheel. The wheel is turning in your favor. So if you've been at the bottom, you're starting to move up. And so this may not be the year where you are like on top of the world, on top of your game, but you're certainly making progress in that direction. This Temperance card looks very happy. It's also, we see an angel in the Temperance card. And so it feels like your spirit guides, your angels, your higher self are all like, look how happy this angel looks, are really glad that you are moving toward whatever this is. It seems to be either part of your life plan, part of what makes you happy, your soul happy, and brings in things that you've been wanting. There seems to be a lot of spiritual support for what you're doing. Okay, so I think the saying that I'm thinking of is like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But for some reason, as I looked at these apples, it was like, put all your apples in one basket. So what that says to me is that it's like, put all your energy, all your focus, all you have got into whatever it is you're wanting to bring to fruition, your project, your career, whatever's bringing finances in and that is feeling inspirational for you. It's time to really put the energy into that. But also, again, there may be different aspects to it. There may be different ways you can experiment. Like, don't be afraid to do those different things, but really focus on putting your energy into whatever this is, and you are going to come out on top. You are going to come out making more money, feeling more internally abundant, and having the career life and the life in a lot of ways that you want. So this is good. And it's also like the Wands talks again about, inspiration, creativity, motivation. And so really putting your energy toward what inspires you and the aspects of this that inspire you rather than just dredging along and doing things you don't want to do. There needs to be a little bit of passion or enjoyment of it, or at least a passion for what you think your work will get for you. Something about it is a happy feeling and a prosperous feeling. And it feels like you're on your life path, like you're going in the right direction, especially if you keep moving toward this and not giving up. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and we're going to take a look at opportunities and good things coming in. We're going to look at lessons or obstacles that may be coming in the next year and how to handle them. And then we'll get some guidance. Okay. So what opportunities and good things are coming in for group 3? The Four of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles. Hold on. Okay, let me cover up these boobs. And let's get another card. The Fool. What lessons or obstacles are present for group 3? The Moon, the Hierophant, and the Page of Wands. Okay. Let's look at good things first. So, opportunities and good things coming in. We have this Four of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, and the Fool. So, certainly new opportunities could be coming your way. I think a burst of energy is going to be coming your way. So let me talk about that. But also with the Nine of Pentacles, greater financial abundance and abundance in general. Okay, so I really have this feeling with the Four of Swords, but also with this Fool here, that you may have been in a long period of rest or a long period of feeling quite tired or exhausted or depleted, or you haven't made progress on your goals, your dreams, your career, the things that you want to manifest and work toward. And, or you feel like you haven't been able to get much done. But a good thing coming is this renewed feeling of inspiration, vigor, excitement, the ability to move forward, this feeling of wanting to take risks, of wanting to see what could happen if you pursue your dreams, and really just feeling more energetic and more able to get up and move. But I think that there may be good days and bad days with that. If you have been having health problems, if that has been making you feel more tired than normal, more depleted, more stressed out, I do think that you will have the opportunity this year to feel much healthier, much better, and to just feel more like your healthiest, happiest self. So it feels like your physical energy and your physical health is improving. Definitely. It also seems like you're going to be more connected to your intuition and your ability to see clearly what would be good for you and where you want to go. And again, I have this feeling with this group that for some reason you're either moving toward an unusual goal, or it's like unusual to your family. Maybe it's not that weird. Or the way that you go about things is a little bit different. And it's because when you do those things, it's because you're tapped into you're tapped into your intuition. And so I think that you're going to have a lot of opportunity to be intuitively led this year, more connected to your intuition. And so you have also the opportunity to move in the direction your intuition is telling you to go, which will lead you to bigger, brighter, more wonderful things and abundance. Because, every single person in the world could believe that there's one way to reach a goal, and you're the only person out of 8 billion people who thinks, for some reason, I feel like I could reach it doing this. Everyone is telling you you are wrong. They've got scientific studies about why you're wrong. Everybody is, judging you. And if you listen to them, you won't get to this Nine of Pentacles and this wonderful abundance. But if you listen to your gut and the feeling that you think you could do this another way, you're going to reach the Nine of Pentacles much faster. So there's an energy here of being authentic to yourself, trusting yourself, and sort of doing like a trust fall with yourself. Do you trust your intuition? Now is the time to find out. Now is the time to really lean on that intuition and see where it can take you, because you have the opportunity to get somewhere really special and to do something really special and unique and very much you. And people, again, they may think that you are foolish. They may think that you are naive. They may think that you are dumb. And let them, because you will prove that you can get everything that you want. There may end up being people who are actually very jealous of you and jealous of the places that you've gone. And your relationship with yourself. I think that could also be growing this year, where you have just a stronger faith in yourself and that you are really, really internally supportive of yourself. And that's really beautiful. Let's look at lessons and potential obstacles and how to handle them. So we have this Moon, this Hierophant, and the Page of Wands. You've been getting tons of major arcana. So again, I'm going to say it. I think this is a really big year for you, and that it's really going to be a pivotal point in your life, or in the season of your life. So I think one thing you're going to deal with is some anxiety, some fear, some worry that you're doing the wrong thing, going the wrong way. There will be times that you struggle to trust your intuition, probably because of people around you and their voices, but also because of your own beliefs that you've acquired over the years, beliefs about yourself, beliefs about your worth, beliefs about how you need to go the traditional route. But the thing is that you don't, and that you're not meant to go the traditional route. You're meant to be creative and different and inspirational and kind of change the paradigm in some way. I don't know if it's in small or large ways, but it's certainly coming through. So it feels like An obstacle this year could be as you're moving toward your intuition and trusting yourself and moving toward a goal or a career move, something like this. You may have these very strong anxieties that arise, these strong negative beliefs or voices telling you you can't do it and that it's stupid to do what you're trying to do. And that there may feel like there are blocks in the way of you reaching your goal, which could make you feel, again, kind of tired and want to just rest and not move toward it. But I don't think that that's the move. I think the move is to continue to move toward it and to release anxieties and fears and possibly not tell people what you're doing, because if they're not going to be supportive, it might drag your energy down further. And so I think too, this Hierophant card is making me think that, if people are asking what you're up to, for example, if you're working on like a project and you're thinking, oh, maybe people will judge it. And then you're like, well, I'm excited. Maybe I want to tell them. Maybe don't. Not yet, unless you can trust them, because it kind of feels like these people in the front are like, tell me, what are you working on? What have you been doing? And it's like you're just waving them off. You're like, no, don't, keep your own counsel is what I want to tell you. And, the Hierophant can be someone that is a counsel that you'd go to. Keep your own counsel. Don't worry about other people. And I think that, for some reason you have fears around tradition, around not doing things the traditional way and doing them the way that you want. But that's exactly what you're meant to do right now, because how to handle these blocks and these issues is to be this Page of Wands, is to move toward a new beginning, is to move toward inspiration, creativity, transition and changing your life and your circumstances and yourself, and being willing to begin new things, to try new things, and to move toward the things that you really want, even if they're a little bit scary. If you've been wanting to move to a new location, this talks about that being possibly very, very good for you. Or if you've been wanting to travel somewhere, that could be very beneficial for you as well. And, if you are dealing with a huge amount of traditional values weighing on you because you're surrounded by your family and a culture that says like you need to do this and this and this or something like that, maybe traveling to another place with a different culture or different people doing different things will kind of expand your mind and help your subconscious to believe, yes, I can do things differently. It's not everyone around me. They're not right. I actually can do things the way that I want to do them. Yeah, you're really meant to begin a new adventure right now. And I do get the sense for many of you that you've already been working toward this, or you've been thinking about it for a long time and maybe not making any moves, but this is the year to make moves. This is the year to move toward what you've been afraid to do, but you've wanted to do, or you've wanted to at least see how it would pan out. This is the year to start something and to really move toward it and to put the work in and to, stop talking yourself out of it. Stop letting the fears be in charge and start being the one in power. In the moon here, it's like you have no clothes. You can't move forward. You have these big, scary wolves, right next to you. And then we have you here as the Hierophant, like you are the counsel, you are the wise one, you are the guide, you are on top. And so I think that, it's really, really time to move into your power, to decide what your values, beliefs, and interests are, to decide the path you want to take and to move down it and toward it, no matter what anyone says or thinks or does. So I want to get some final guidance for you. And we have these oracle cards. We have the number 39, back on task. Be sure you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. Bloodstone, get up, get moving. Yep. Okay, and we have surrender, procrastination. Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. Okay, look, all of these are saying the same thing. Couldn't be more clear. Told you, your group was maybe going to be the easiest to decipher because it's so clear. And I also think it might be the shortest one, but we'll find out because I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, okay, so this again talks about moving toward career goals, whatever it is, and that you Procrastinating, now is not the time for procrastinating. It's time to jump on a goal. It's time to get up and get moving. Stop putting things off. Taking action will attract success. You're meant to have success this year. So you're also meant to take action this year. You're meant to get moving. And again, if you haven't been able to because your physical health was depleted, it seems like you will be getting energy again. And to make use of the energy that you do have, let me move this crystal. Okay. Yeah, and to keep bringing yourself back to the task at hand. I don't think I've ever pulled this card out of this deck before. It's new to me. So yes, use your time in the best possible manner. So schedule, make lists, whatever you have to do. Yes, you might do things in an unusual way, but do it in your unusual way and make sure that you are taking steps toward your goal. So, in the beginning, we also had step by step. It's not that you have to run forward and rush and get everything done the second. No, some of this year is really about removing anxieties, moving through anxieties, bucking tradition, doing what you want to do, and moving toward a goal, especially if you've been stagnant. You just have to keep moving toward it. You don't have to finish it all. You don't have to get it all done right now, but you have to make a commitment to it and move toward it and move toward the parts of it that are inspiring for you. Again, so, if you've been procrastinating, if there's been something you've really been wanting to work on, but you haven't, some area of life, career or projects or otherwise, now is the time to do it. And it's really time to just put the action in, even if it's tiny, as long as it's somewhat consistent and you're still moving forward. I think that there are certainly some people in this group that are perfectionists. And if you are, there is some energy here to give up on the perfection. And that part of that perfectionism may be coming from old beliefs as well. Old beliefs about yourself, old beliefs that were passed down from other people. And that it's more important to take action right now than to be perfect. It's more important to put things out there that are imperfect, but at least you're making the leap. And because this also will help you to release some of that perfectionism and release some of that need to control every little detail and control what other people think of you. And it's really what it comes down to is a control thing. And so the more you can release that, the more you can move through it and past it, the more you will release this need to control everything, and you will flow better with abundance and prosperity and joy and all of these things. So I think that's all I have for you today, Group 3. If this reading was helpful, let me know. Like the video. Leave a comment if you'd like. I'll see you again soon, okay? Bye.